Hello, this is Max Freud. I'm gonna do a bit of a voiceover for the scrap mechanic character here. So I actually realized I wanted to record a little bit after I started working on it. It's actually not that difficult. It's simply just some spheres and blocking out shapes for what I'm gonna do. And I also made this challenge sort of like a a challenge really for set it to make it as quickly as possible really, and just push something out. This is on the back end of developing another little sculpt of a Sonic, and I was like, oh, this is a pretty good way of producing quick content. I'll probably make even more stuff like this. It's just fun. It doesn't take very long. This one took about 1 hour and 1 hour and a half, I guess. So here we can just see me blocking out the jacket. I already know it's from it's based on a height comparison I made for concept art for Sculpt Mechanic. And it started popping up in the community a bit, so I thought it was a little bit fun. This isn't how the actual mechanic looks. It was simply as that I didn't want to bother draw a proper face for the size comparison. And it turned out cute and fun anyway, so I mean, he's a worthy little dude, little boy. So here we can see that I'm using a lot of cubes and just getting in general shapes, remeshing the shape, a lot of that, just smoothing everything out. Bezier curves in Blender is amazing to create just piping and stuff like that, but it also works for hair and, well, in this case it's an arm. I also reuse a lot of the pieces in the that I already applied in the model, so I borrowed the head in this case and placed it as a glove. Sometimes I'm a little split between adding things as a separate model or just sculpting things in, but in this case I didn't really have that much time to think, so I just went with the thing that I felt like just get it done. These are also like pointless details that I'm doing because I felt a little bored, and I went in and like sharpened the collar for the jacket. It's just no point to it, but you know. I think the most troubling thing I had was with the pants, honestly, with this one, because when I made, I'm not even happy with how it turned out actually, but it was something that I felt like it doesn't really matter. It's just get it out, get it done, finish up. However, the whole thing sort of turned out quite well in the end, I feel. So the way I'm actually approaching the pants is just like do really sharp, ugly incisions and then sort of smooth it out and inflate to get this sort of soft, pudgy look. Also, Bezier curves again, they're great. They're actually one of my favorite tools to work with. I use them every day. Here's also, I've already planned like, okay, the hair won't be mirrored, so I need to sort of decide how the hair should be, and then I just go in and remesh the whole thing, and I don't touch it after that. It's just finished, it's done. Some adjustments. The eyes were something I touched up on a lot during the process because I knew I was gonna tilt the head. So I had to sort of think how it would be if the eyes are placed. I could have like moved the thing and modeled on top of it, but I don't really like doing that too much. There's also some inflate on the ears to make them a little bit more rounder and more fun to look at. Some more adjustments. I think I messed it up here because after I merge it, I forget that I'm in mirror mode and I start touching things. It didn't really do that much, but I can't, since those aren't mirrored, the tips of hair, the bangs, it messes things up. It didn't hurt too much. Here I couldn't understand why the backside didn't connect, so I just didn't bother for a while. Then I realized what the issue was. There's also, it's a simple like cylinder, you move it around, put it into remesh. Here the shirt, I had a double shirt for some reason. I think it duplicated it without realizing. And here we get the straps for the pants. Also Bezier curves, amazing. And you can notice here that they don't go all the way but to the back because nobody's gonna see that, doesn't matter. Here we go, shoes, and I didn't bother making the actual shoes. I just didn't feel like that was a necessity for the design overall. It just felt like that's not the hill I want to climb and die on, if you know what I'm saying. So I made my own version of the shoe. I also forgot a lot of like coloring and stuff afterwards. We'll get to the shading part when we get to that part. But yeah, I'm starting to integrate like the shoe into the pants to have some weight. Yeah, and the pants. I also realized during the process that they had like too much of a proportional, natural proportion, which he doesn't have in the size comparison. So I sort of squeezed the whole thing down and made him a lot thicker and fatter. And here I tilted the head. It's a really big sort of, alright, because that's how I drew him in the concept. So I also had I have everything on the right side, sort of take peeks of it. I'm sort of, I mean, it's not super serious now, but I mean, like, still I realized, oh, hey, I like this part because it's just modeling with subdiv, and I really like that. It gets really clean results. It's for the knee pads, which I also, when I was looking it through, I was like, yeah, oh yeah, right. He actually has those knee pads. Gotta get those in. And there we go. It's on. Pretty cool. I really like those like subdivided sort of designs. Look really clean. Some touch-ups for dirty stuff. I think it actually looks better in like this grayscaled, what is it, like a matte capture, material capture mode. This is actually a part I got a little annoyed with. I never enjoy doing those bars whenever I draw the mechanic either. I always forget them. They are I don't know. They are there. And somehow I always have to draw those. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. I got those in, and now I'm just doing some final adjustment on that little white thing. I wanted to push that look even further, but I just decided not to. Here is where I also sort of felt like, okay, maybe this actually needs... I already... this needs some sort of platform to stand on, but I already thought about like having a rotating camera around it since it was based on a previous work. So here I'm being really smart, but I'm also being a complete idiot because I'm going to do a Boolean operation, cut through the bearing here, but the solution is bad. It seems really smart, and it technically works, but later on it'll be a problem, so that I'll have to adjust for. But at least the cutters are there. That's nice. So, yeah, just adjusting some stuff, copying the backpack, making sure that it has like a flap. I should probably done a little bit more work on that, but I really didn't feel like doing it. I knew, because I knew I was gonna do a full like camera spin around and like the shading part and like lighting and stuff like that. Oh, hello. The shoes had a keyframe. That happens sometimes. I have my fingers a little clumsy sometimes. Yeah, and I already sort of test out how it looks in the spin. And it's time to do some shading. So just pick out the colors that are needed, and I also sort of already now start to test what the look will be. I already have some ideas, so I'm doing a noise, something that feels a little bit plasticky, or as I got a comment about, like, it looks a bit like a what's it called, like a wedding cake thing. And I did a lot of stupid decisions that won't be shown in the actual post later on, and that's also like the thing that you need to realize is that a lot of work might not even like register, and it's hard to know what people will also see or register on. I also made like this bag, like a procedural texture for that. It's absolutely dumb, but this won't show up later on. It's just a waste of time. So good thing to note. However, I could reuse the backpack texture for the clothing, which won't show either. If I put out like proper renders for it, like actual shots, it'll register, but like for the GIF, whatever, it won't. You won't be able to tell. And here we're just playing around with the HDRI to see like the material responses. Something that sort of tells me where I'll end up. Some decisions were like, oh, should I go like, should he actually have skin, or what would it be? And I'm like, yeah, it was skinny but with plastic, so it would be like a half translucent sort of material. Yeah, I also try to reuse as many colors as I can if I work with it, because it's just like so much easier to have. So the brown in the front and the brown in the back of the bags it's completely the same. Just call on them. Yep. And here we am setting like a depth of field thing with the camera. So it's starting to look like something, you know. Also making like a background scene, because I want him to have a sort of background design. So putting in a gradient with some depth at the bottom. Spinning around. I'm actually working on the left side, doing lighting and stuff like that. But I also like sort of want to keep what the product will be like live and running in the background, so I sort of don't lose focus of getting into too much details and stuff like that. Just make sure that like I don't have much time. Just gotta punch it out, you know. And yeah, it sort of kind of looks like a toy, you know. And also like, yeah, I'm doing some adjustments here on the pockets. I wanted to be a little bit more pudgy and more of a fun shape. Here's a fun pass. I'm doing vertex vertex colors with dirty vertex color. So what it does is that it finds edges and draws values from white to black, and I can call on those to create sort of gradients between areas that are close to each other. So it's a baked-in ambient occlusion effect. The higher the resolution on your model, the easier it will be to grab the corners. So it's a really dirty but quick way to sort of achieve something. And the better the sculpt is, the better it'll look. This is really like quick and dirty, as I've said before. A lot of the choices you can make though are like very color based. So if I had went really dark there, it would have looked way worse than it actually came out looking. And also, as you can see, maybe I should have handled the GIF better, but all of the colors in Blender overall are just like much better. And here I am actually painting out my own vertex color to get his chins to get a little reddish. So that you can always use them as masks to sort of get in color differentiations in a model. Alright. I also added a fun little Fresnel effect on the metallic bars at the end. I realized I need to get these white spots in. I just picked some random spots and put that in. Alright, we got a background, we got the lights. We are heading to the finish line. But I wanted something to happen in the background, even though maybe that wasn't the smartest. I'm really working on like just the inspiration of the moment. It's really like the jazz of blendering. I don't know. So I'm just playing around with it looks kind of like water. I don't know. Thinking about the intro to the Scrap Mechanic trailer that we made. Had that water effect in the beginning. I always liked that one with the logo on top. So here I'm doing adjustment work for the gloves, making sure you can look into them, even though that's probably not necessary, but you know, some detail work, really quick. I was thinking about adding a freestanding mesh to the arms to make the whites, but I just decided against it. So here I'm actually looking at the reference for the bearing, which I didn't before, and I realized it didn't really look like a bearing. And here I decided that my cutters suck. I just need to make cubes and copy a black version of the same cylinder below. Problem solved. Playing with subdiv here, and I decided against it. Takes too long, too much problems. Boolean operations doesn't really like it if you haven't gotten good support lines, edges. And there we go. We are pretty much there. That's how it looks in Blender, and this is actually what I ended up posting. So I think at this point in total I've been and here is the actual render. So I think it took 1.5 hours just to, I think, yeah, exactly, for that part, and then it took a while to do the entire render, getting everything up. In total it took 2 hours, I think. And there we go. That's it. Bye.